Hello, Bucs fans. We are back. It is Real Bucs Talk here, live on a Monday. The Buccaneers won a game yesterday, so that's great. Up to 5 wins now. I'm your host, Michael Plus. Joined as always, my co-host Mark Ramirez. And Mark, man, what do we make of this game yesterday? I know me and you were talking about it back and forth. I was at the game. I believe you were at home watching it on TV as well. So, yeah, it was quite an adventure against the 1-10, the 1-11 now Carolina Panthers for this Buccaneers team.
I mean, it's one of those things where
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Exactly.
oh, there he is. But the only comment I gotta say, yeah, like you just said, 1-10, now 1-11, and the struggle to win a game. I know Mike Evans said it doesn't matter if it's ugly, a win is a win.
Right.
But yeah, against a team that has no clue what a coach is, I've put their quarterback in the worst possible situations. You got their best player in defense kicking himself out of the damn game. There's no control, no nothing, and you were struggling to win that game, and you barely won it by 3 points. And you were down at one point. So, I mean, this says it all.
Crap, mega crap.
I don't mean it in that way, but it is what it is. And like, yes, it's another win. It's tough to win in the league. I agree. But to win the way you're winning, it's almost like you're going to ride the whole roller coaster of mediocrity for the rest of your NFL tenure as a head coach, and it just shows. I mean, yes, you're down both linebackers, but sadly, it almost looked like they were doing better without him. And he had to change his entire defense, and it looked slightly better at times, even with lesser players. And plus must be wear the replacement jersey again next week.
Oh, yeah.
Footsteps Falco at the game. But I mean, overall, this should not have been a game at home against a team that's in shambles. It should have been the same thing from last time, but we got demolished last time. So maybe this is a positive. But either way, do we see us? I remember us saying we could run the table. Hell, we could not win another game.
Yeah.
To me, if you can barely beat the Panthers at home, what the hell are you going to do against the Falcons away, the Packers away, Jaguars here, who are just lighting up at teams? Are they winning or losing today?
I don't know.
But either way, like it looks more like we can't win a damn game. And I should have put the rest of that clip. I just want to win a game, another game. And that's how it feels right now, because everything is a struggle for everything on the offense and the defense. And it is what it is. And I was laughing because I sent you a screenshot of Todd Bowles' press conference today. And it's just all negative remarks all over the place on the live stream. And I'm like, I mean, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
they're not wrong.
Right.
I mean, they're just telling the truth. It is what it is. It's not negativity if it's the truth.
Yep.
But what do you got to say about it, Bless? You were there.
Yeah.
Ensemble get rained on all over the place.
Yeah, it was a lot of rain in that second quarter. So I didn't really get a good glimpse of the second quarter. I think it was like all the way, I think like almost to like the 2-minute warning is when we finally got back to our seats. And, the Bucs offense had the ball, and of course they go 3 and out after Todd Bowles actually uses a timeout finally to get the ball back. But yeah, I mean, just to start with the positives, I mean, Krillin's talking about it here. Obviously, Antoine Winfield played outstanding on defense, came up with the game-clinching interception, so that was nice. Mike Evans was the offense yesterday. He was the team yesterday. So he played outstanding, again, getting another 1,000 yards to put 10 straight, which is just remarkable for his career and on his way to a Hall of Fame candidate for sure, Hall of Fame, entry. And I mean, he was carrying the offense pretty much the whole way. And, that 75-yard touchdown was obviously a busted coverage by Carolina, and Mike just took it the distance this time. And for him to stretch out like he did to get the touchdown, that was great. Rashad White, I thought, played well. Again, he had I think he had like 50 yards, but then he ended up getting 30 yards there at the end, so he ended up with like 84. It's crazy that Rashad could get 1,000 yards rushing, to think about it, which is, I don't know if he does it against some of the defenses that are coming up. That will be the tough thing. But if he does, I mean, credit to him because I think he's been playing really well. I think the offensive line as a whole did a pretty good job yesterday. I thought Cody Mock probably had his best game, which was good, especially after last week when he had a solid game as well. So there's a lot of positives there, to go off of from certain guys. We're not getting it as a collective right now on either side of the ball. Yaya Diaby, Kalijah Cansey looked great. You saw some things from Marquise Watts who looked good. So, but yeah, I mean, it's the process is still bad. Like we talked about before, Todd Bowles and this coaching staff, Canales being inconsistent, inconsistencies from the quarterback and Baker Mayfield, who was not good yesterday, as you see there. So
48% completion percentage too.
Yeah, I mean, just not very good. He could have had at least probably 3 to 4 picks. Yeah, it was just not a good product for most of the game. And then, in the second half when Carolina, finally took the lead, the Bucs came right back and obviously get that score to, take the lead, and then they get another drive later in that game. Chris Godwin runs it in on a good play call. So yeah, it was just a lot of the same things, but the Buccaneers found a way to win this game because they were facing a team that was just inferior to them as far as talent wise, and they won because of default. Really, I mean, if they were facing a better team yesterday, they most likely would have lost. Like if they were facing a better offense, probably would have lost that game. And that's really the case with all their wins so far this year. I mean, they've found ways either to win with turnovers and take advantage of that, or they're just doing just enough to find ways to win these games because the other team is just not doing anything. And that was the case yesterday.
It's like you just said, like the process, how hard they make things.
Yeah.
Yes, like everyone pulls for Baker, and congratulations on the baby reveal. Baker did some baking, and now let's see what comes out, right? But it hurts to watch. It's like sometimes you're just staring things down. The throw is in there. Then now, okay, yeah, it rained. Okay, cool. If anything, play caller understand that. Don't force this guy to throw a deep ball where he's going to try and throw everything he's got into it, and then it just slips right out of his hand, right? I mean, the receivers were taking off their gloves because they knew they would drop it because it'd be too slippery.
Yeah.
Because of the weather. The running game actually 20 carries, 84 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah, because the 130 long, but everything was hard. Nothing really went smooth. Yeah, you had the 175-yard touchdown, but the whole entire game, it was close. I thought they were going to win. The Panthers were going to win the whole entire game. To God honest truth, I thought that was going to happen. I'm like, oh, here it is. Yeah. And it shouldn't be that hard of a struggle when it's like a team that's already got the wind out of their sails, that they're just playing for next year pretty much. And it's struggling. Your best player, like I said, ejected himself out of the damn game. Didn't really give a shit. He's like, what am I playing for? Right? Like, you beat him by 3 damn points. But it's hard to get a win in the league, I guess. But
yeah,
let's see what happens next week against the Falcons. Where it's playing for the division, supposed.
That's the crazy thing about it. I mean, with this one win, the Buccaneers are now 5-7, and they're playing for first place next week. First place in the NFC laugh out loud division, as I like to call it, because that's what it is. It's not the NFC South; it's an NFC lull, because it's just bad all around. I mean, Saints don't look good. Falcons barely look good against the Jets team that can't score at all, winning 13-8. Panthers again bad. Bucs right there with them. It's really no one wants to win this division. I mean, what's the benefit of winning the division? You get a first place schedule next year. You get a home playoff game, which you're probably going to get blown out by Dallas. So I mean, what's the real benefit of winning, another division title? I mean, I guess it's good for culture because you win games. Obviously, the team wants to win. I want wins, yeah, sure. But I think when we look at it, what does this get you? Just more mediocrity? And I don't want to be mediocre. Like, I want the team to have sustained success, and we had that for at least 2 years with Tom Brady, and a good team behind that as well, a well-coached team with Bruce Arians. But man, it's fallen off the table real quick, real quick.
And it just goes to show like how much the coaching mattered, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not just coaching, but like how superior the amount of talent we had. Yes, Tom Brady is always going to be a massive step above everyone else that was quarterback that we're going to get.
Yeah.
But also the fact that we had Evans accompanied with Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and Gronkowski. It's insane. It's insanity. You couldn't cover anyone.
Right.
You did
lead offensive line. Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
offensive line that could pass block for days.
Yeah.
And then if you cover deep because Antonio Brown's stretching the field, Mike Evans stretching the field, you doubled one guy, the best guy ever to read the defense and to make an easy decision. And then if you're playing deep, you don't want Brady to beat you for 500 yards. Okay, we'll run the ball. Lenny can actually run because he can stutter step and no one's there. It just, it was just so many things that were working in our favor. Now there's still talent on the team. It's just, this is where coaching needs to step up and use that talent correctly. And they're not. And those defensive insufficiencies are glaring right now. Like hugely glaring. It used to be just, be careful with the flats and then the linebackers behind the linebackers. It's almost like secondary's lost. It doesn't matter if the pass rush gets there because the corners aren't going to cover.
Yeah.
And then when the pass rush doesn't get there, we're pissed off because, why didn't they get in there? Well, they were doing it probably 65% of the time, but the corners couldn't do anything. Like it's really frustrating all around. Yeah, there's injuries around, but this is where coaching has to pick you up and keep going. And I don't know. Do they go on a run? I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. If they win this week, okay, get some hype. But this game doesn't give me any tooting my horn kind of feeling. This is more of like, okay, this is honestly a should be win. If you had any,
I mean, I see it this way. I mean, even if they win this week against Atlanta, I don't see them winning after Atlanta. I mean, I don't see us beating Green Bay in Green Bay, and the Jaguars, no. And then the Saints, again, probably that's a toss up, but who knows? And then Panthers, maybe. Yeah. So that puts you at 8 wins if you win those last 2. But again, the Falcons, I think, have a good chance of maybe getting 9. I mean, just there's just no hope of like consistency. I just don't see it how this team can finally put wins together when they haven't done that all season, besides those first 4 games of the year where they started 3-1.
I mean, the only hope we have is if somehow Devin White stays hurt.
Yeah.
It's Servasier and Levante in the middle.
And Baker plays better. Yeah.
And Baker plays a lot better.
Yeah, a lot better.
Or maybe it's Baker playing better and us actually, or maybe also Chris Godwin's neck issue. Maybe that's why they didn't target him much or didn't want to force it to him.
I don't know. It's just weird because you run that. I guess he can run. I guess he can run fine. Like he ran well. You give him 1 carry and he gets in for a touchdown. So I guess you don't need your neck that much on that play. But
ask Mike Allstott.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't get it. But yeah, it's just there's too many inconsistencies across the board. Quarterback is too up and down. Your run game again is still a weakness, even though it has shown better results over the last couple of weeks. Still weakness. And then defensively, you're getting pressure. I mean, they had 33 pressures yesterday on Bryce Young, so they're getting pressure. But like you said, there's just no plan in the back seven from the linebackers to the safeties to the corners. There's just no consistency there as well. So you really can't count on anything right now. I mean, the only thing we can count on is Mike Evans and Antoine Winfield because those two guys are playing elite, style. And obviously the young guys up front and Kalijah Kancey and Yaya Diaby are playing really well. I will give him credit to making that move to put Diaby as a starter. Yeah. I think that's probably a good move they've made recently. I do like that. I did like that they played Marquise Watts more yesterday.
100% happy about that.
Yeah. So
a little too late, but you never know.
Yeah, a little too late. I mean, I would still like to see Kyle Trask get in there at some point, which probably will happen because I think the playoff hopes will go away, especially after this weekend. If they do lose to the Falcons, then you're pretty much out of it. And then maybe we will see a switch at quarterback, but probably not because again, he's trying to save his job. And if you're trying to save your job, you're going to do whatever you can, to stay there. So.
100%. But like I was telling you yesterday as well, like the way Baker's playing right now, considering they're trying to push for the playoffs, push for Todd Bowles' job, he's going to press a little too much and he's going to get hurt. I mean, he's already every game, it seems like he's getting hurt, whether it's his hand, his ankle, his knee.
Yeah.
Every game, it's something. And like that's just his playing style. It's because he's either holding the ball too long, he's getting hit, or he's trying to lower his head and pick up yards when he shouldn't. He should just throw the ball away. And yeah, like we were talking about the last game, unneeded sacks that he was taking.
Yeah.
Against, I still can't believe we lost to the damn Colts. That blows. Just to see some of the comments like, "Are you kidding me? We're good."
They just went into
overtime too.
The Colts just went into overtime with the Titans, and again, that just shows you how bad the Buccaneers are. Even though the Bucs beat the Titans pretty good, like just
how inconsistent they are. Slaughter the Titans. They did. It was pretty much an ass beating.
Yeah,
and you can't do jack shit against the Colts. And don't give me crap. It was an away game. Doesn't matter. Like it's again that game. Everything was difficult. They couldn't do anything consistent. He had one long run. Other than that, the passing, it was like, what the hell are we doing? Like pressing way too hard. Then Tristan Wirfs gets hurt. There's strip sack fumble, but that drive was not going to go the distance and get you some points. Like it.
Right.
It ended before it even started, which is pathetic. But and is it all on Baker? No. I mean, Dave Canales calling plays better. He still every damn press conference says it's on me calling it better. I mean, we're pretty late in the season. Your running game still isn't there. It is improving. Yeah, like Charles was saying in the chat, it is improving. Don't get me wrong, but you still don't have the weapons to do it, and you got to run in different formations. You can't keep running your same simple stuff. Run it in the goal line stance. That's working. That's been working. But don't run it so frequently from the 20 to 20. Right? Like we got to find a way to spread it out and use more targets than just Mike Evans. I know everyone loves him. I love him too.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer, but you can't put it all on him every damn game.
Can't. I mean, you got to find a way to get Chris Godwin the ball, right? I mean, he's making $20 million a year, and you're not, you're not utilizing him correctly. So.
I love that game, but there's nothing. He didn't get a catch for 3 targets. Come on,
only 14 completions, so it's not it's not gonna cut it. But yeah, I mean, it's it's mind-boggling because they did throw it more, especially.
It's funny. There's a Victory Monday vibe.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like a Victory Monday. Just because we just know you just know what this team is and you know where they're heading. So it's just it's frustrating still. And there was more passing calls yesterday, but again, the inconsistency from Baker on down, it just was not there. Like they had back-to-back passes on 1st and 2nd down, but you still end up in 3rd and 10, and then you don't convert, so you have to punt. there was a lot of those scenarios. There were scenarios where we did
positive. His deep ball looked better.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
shots to Mike were connected.
Yeah.
But never mind. The one that sailed and was almost intercepted.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
2 for 3. 2 for 3.
there was positives there, but I mean, they did pass the ball more, I think, on 1st and 10, but then you had the runs to follow that on 2nd and 10, and you still end up 3rd and long. So, yeah, I mean, it's a mess across the board, really. And you just hope that they can start to show improvements, but right now it just doesn't look like that's going to happen. But again, they did the same thing last week against the Colts. They did it this week against the Panthers, only this time different. They won because the Panthers are just not a good team. 20 points against the Colts. You scored 21 against the Panthers. You end up winning the game because Panthers couldn't score.
Yep.
And that's what it came down to.
Yeah, you simply just can't score.
Yeah.
And then you're relying, again, I think, so, who was it that was saying it? I don't know if it was a comment or if someone in the live last week about how we just don't hit the deep ball, and that's why we're losing games. Okay, we connected on one, but it doesn't matter if just only one connects. You have to have consistent offense of things that work. Like no offense is sustainable to have one deep pass that works every damn time. It's not sustainable. I mean, yes, Bruce Arians had everyone going deep, so everyone was an option to be open, and then you can dump it underneath. But that doesn't work either, because you can just play cover 2, sit back, and just have everyone just run into your zones. Like we need to find things that work, whether it's play caller calling it right, quarterback seeing the field better, and then once it gets there, the guy has to catch the ball. Because Chris Godwin may have had 0 catches, but he also dropped one very early in the game. And there's the first throw of the game, drop. So that's why I'm like, maybe it's his neck. I don't know. But either way, yes, keep feeding Mike Evans, but he shouldn't be the only guy when you have, like you just said, a $20 million man on the other side.
Yep.
I don't know where Kate Otten went to. He didn't even get a target. So I don't know.
Well, he did have 1 catch, but again, it brought back because of a flag on Rachaad White for pass interference, which I didn't see. But again, just mistakes like that. And again, it stalls drives. You have a 1st and 10, but a penalty backs you up, and then you end up have to punt because it's 3rd and 13 and you can't convert that. So, that's really the story of the offense. It's been the story of the offense all year. Inconsistencies at quarterback and inconsistencies at play caller. And then you multiply that with Todd Bowles and his conservative approach on defense at times, and then not calling timeouts, not doing proper game management, not utilizing his players on defense correctly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he did have a stat, but it's all those things right now, and it just points to a average football team, which the Buccaneers are at 5-7. Now going into a game against Atlanta, sure. Can the Buccaneers win this week? Absolutely. Is the chances good? Probably not, but they can win if they play in a better fashion as far as their standard and what their talent shows. Absolutely. And I think this week it really depends on who's available, like who's coming back, like who's healthy, who's going to be playing.
The thing is, though, last time we got 3 turnovers in the red zone from them. We still couldn't beat them.
Yeah.
Right. So it's hard.
And their defense is good. Like they have a top 10 defense.
It's an ugly game.
Yeah. So if the Falcons don't, if the Falcons don't turn it over, I really suspect the Falcons winning this game, maybe even by double digits if it comes to that case. But
I mean, the Colts were winning by easy double digits, and it looked like it was too far away. When it was 10-point game, seems like it's a 28-point game. Right. It's gross.
Yep.
But I mean, that's what your offense has been consistently this way the whole time. I don't know how the hell we put up 37, was it, against the Texans?
Texans, yeah.
I don't know how the hell we even did that, but
Yeah, Texans are on a winning streak. They're at 7-5. They just had a big loss, so they lose Tank Dell for the season, so that's going to hurt them. But yeah, I mean, for this Buccaneers team moving forward, and I guess that's what we'll get into the rest of the podcast. Not really much to talk about that Panthers game yesterday. I mean, we pretty much broke it down. Excited for Mike Evans, excited for Antoine Winfield. Those guys were the stars. Obviously, there was bright spots in the younger players. I think you have to be excited with this rookie draft class. I think
Phenomenal.
One, pretty much all the draft picks are stepping up in a positive way. So I think you have to be excited about that, especially if, you'll probably have Servassier Dennis back next week against Atlanta. So that'll be good to see him more. I think he played well against the Colts. I think JJ Russell and him should start the rest of the way. I don't see Levante coming back anytime soon because that groin injury, that's a tough thing to come back from. And Devin is Devin. Like, you can just let him ride the pine, to be all honest with you. And I think a lot of people would agree with that.
And it's frustrating too. It is what it is. Like, from the small sample size I saw Servassier in coverage, night and day better than Devin White. Night and day. So,
and JJ was good yesterday too. Like, he did a lot of good things.
Hell, he got a sack, just how Devin White does going downhill. Yes, no one has Devin White's athleticism. No one will. Damn near no linebacker can ever have that. But he just doesn't use it correctly. And that's one thing we saw when everyone was saying gold jacket. Yeah, gold jacket athleticism, but you got to have a head to do it. Our biggest thing was, okay, yeah, you have all that speed. If you're running one way the wrong way, you got to make up for it so much more, and you just can't.
Yep.
And it's just telling. But like bright spots, yeah, all the young guys. Yaya Diaby, Cansey. Even I saw Logan Hall got good grades on PFF, but he did play better. I mean, I couldn't knock him. I usually do, but he played better. Izzian was all over the place as well, aggressive to the ball. Defensively, there's a whole lot of shit ton of pieces that they have to use. That whether it is Todd Bowles here, which I highly doubt it, or whatever it is, are going to get excited. And Marquise Watts getting more and more pressures. I feel like every time he was on the field, he got a pressure, or he was involved in the play.
Yep.
So, I mean, defensively, there's plenty of stockpile of young talent. And offensively, you're just getting Trey Palmer getting more involved. I liked his run he had too. But Rachaad White's pretty much the biggest kudos you can say. Besides Mike Evans in this game, the only other offensive weapon was Rachaad White. And he's been extremely consistent. Even though the running game doesn't go, he's still getting as much as he can. And when he catches the ball, he makes a shit ton of what do you say? What's a good little acronym?
I mean, he just makes something out of nothing. So, I mean, he does a great job of getting, more, getting more than meets the eye, I guess you could say. For sure. Just looking at the pressure. So Marquise Watts had 2 yesterday. Diaby with 2 as well. Logan Hall had 3. So JTS 4. And our guy Russell, JJ Russell, had 4. But look who led the way. Kalijah Cansey with 5, Shaq Barrett with 5, and of course Antoine Winfield Jr. with 4. So I mean, guys were getting pressure. Now again, this is against one of the worst offensive lines in the league, so you have to put that into context as well. So
look at this stat line by Winfield Jr. 8 tackles, 6 solo, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 3 passes deflected, 1 QE hit, and an interception.
Yeah, that's really good.
Nuts. And he was pissed because he thought he could have had 3.
Yeah. There was a couple times he had another one. He dropped it. So I mean, those were the bright spots. I mean, and Diaby already has 5 sacks on the year, so he is already, over exceeding expectations and already proving that he might be better than JTS, because JTS only had 4 sacks per season over the last 2 years. So, I mean, it's going well. How many? Yeah. So he's got 4 sacks again. So he's hitting his mark.
He's doing. Sit him down. That's why you benched him. Sit him down.
But I mean, so you have to be.
It's consistent at least.
He is consistent. 4, 4, 4. And
Uh,
that's fine for GTS. And I think a lot of people forget, like, he was the 32nd pick in the first round. And I think he's probably a really good edge number 2 or a rotational piece. And I think that's what you could use him as. And if you found a guy in Diaby who just has just more skills with his size and, speed and athleticism, I mean, that's really a big kudos. That's a huge kudos to Jason Light to be able to find him in the 3rd round.
Yep. The guy was playing defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Louisville. Nuts.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, there's people that say that Jason Light doesn't know what the hell he's doing. A lot of it is, again, we keep saying this. If he brings over something for you to use, if the carpenter doesn't know how to use the tool, how the hell are you going to see it successful? Right. Like,
right.
Jason Light just brings you the ingredients. The cook has to cook it correctly. Like, he can burn it, he can undercook it. That's what's happening right now. And Jason Light brings you a lot of talent. You just got to use it correctly. Even what BA said when he first got the job, it's not a talent issue. And I truly believe that. Like, look at all these stats by these young guys. Again, this system is made for a middle linebacker. This defense by Todd Bowles. JJ Russell had a hell of a damn game too. Like 7 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss. I mean, he was all over the place. Again, because you just got to be a downhill guy. And then if they drop back, okay, just be presentable. Devin White just doesn't be presentable when it comes to coverage. And it's something we've talked about a lot, and people just get happy over some of these games where he shows hustle. But, I mean, it's a team game. You can't be playing Superman.
Yeah.
Smithson used to be. So,
yeah, for sure.
That for defense. Overall, defensively, there's a lot of young talent. JTS, I think people are even more on him because he's not a true number 1. Right. Shaq Barrett took a step back because he's not a true number 1 either. So we don't have a number 1 guy.
Yeah.
You just hope that Yaya can become something, but if he's not this perennial 10-sack guy, fans are going to get pissed off about that too.
Right. Yeah.
I'm looking for more cumulative sacks and pressures. Kalijah Cansey now can be something disgustingly dangerous.
Oh yeah.
The top athlete at that defensive tackle position. And he's next to Vita Vea for some time. This can be dangerous. And I'm excited to see that maturation and combination of them two together for a while, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cansey could very easily get, he could end up with 6 or 7 sacks by the end of the season. I think that's realistic for him. He's at 3 right now. So I think, you got 5 more games left. He could definitely get a couple more sacks in there to boost his numbers. But yeah, I think you're on it there with, the defense. I think there's a lot of good pieces there. Offensively, there's pieces to work with. Obviously got to re-sign Mike Evans. I think that has become pretty clear. I think they're going to find a way to get him back into the building. Him and Godwin is something to work with. Just got to figure out what you want to do at the quarterback position. And, a lot of people in the chat, I thought this was a good comment to discuss. Not saying I agree with it. Talking about over the last 4 years, first round QBs are the bottom 20s. Baker will be a better QB than any rookie for the next 2 to 3 years. He will probably sign with Atlanta and kick our butt for the next 3 to 4 years. I mean, you got a good point there. I think, obviously not all rookie quarterbacks are equal, right? Not all of them can be a CJ Stroud and, have success right away. I think Baker is a good quality starting quarterback. I think he's a top 20 quarterback in this league. The numbers are proving that right now. I don't think he's been bad. I don't think he's been great. I think he's right in the middle because that's who he is. He's a average to maybe at times above average quarterback. But he's just right there in the middle. He's not going to be a top 10 quarterback at any point. He's not going to be a, elite. But I think he's a solid quarterback. If he has the right things around him, he can win you games. Can he break? Yeah.
That's something we talked about too. Like,
right.
Because I was comparing Baker Mayfield with Lamar Jackson. Everyone gives Lamar Jackson the biggest hype. Oh, he's so dangerous, all this and stuff. Have you seen his stats this year? It's not earth shattering. Yes, Todd Monken's using him correctly, doing things, but he's not doing anything that is like Patrick Mahomes-esque or who can I say, like Herbert blowing it up and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
guys of old. Like, it's nothing special. I think Baker has 5 more touchdowns than he does.
Yeah.
And only like 2 more interceptions. So it's funny. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, he runs more." Okay, cool. The Ravens have a top-notch running game. Baker doesn't have any sense of a running game. If you put Baker in that Ravens offense, he's probably a lot better.
Well, I think they're just
with his game style, he needs it. And we don't have jack shit for running game.
Well,
If
I
we
think
had a top 15 running game, our offense would actually be a lot better.
Well, yeah, for sure. And that's the difference. Like, with Baltimore, they just know who they are. They play to their identity.
We don't have
yeah. and Lamar makes good plays though. I mean, he's an elite quarterback for a reason. He can make plays with his legs. He can do things as far as throwing the ball downfield. He's accurate. He's got almost a 70% completion percentage. That's the difference between him and Baker. Baker's just not as accurate as a Lamar Jackson because Lamar can make those tight window throws when he needs to. He can hit guys open in space. So that's the difference with Lamar Jackson. But to your point of the running game, the run game helps him be a more efficient offense as a whole, and they're scoring more points because of it. Defensively, again, they're a top-notch unit too. So that all plays a factor. He's just on a better team, better coach team, and a better team. So that does play a factor. Now, the question with Baker, and I think a lot of fans were talking about this with long term, it's like, do you want to make a $20 or $20 million, $20? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
$20 for sure. But $20 million investment into Baker Mayfield, because that's probably what's going to cost you, because that's just the market for a starting quarterback. It's going to be 18. Yeah, I mean, it's 20 to 25 million. So it's around that Geno Smith type of contract that you'll probably be looking to give him. And is that something you want to do? And are you going to still draft a rookie quarterback to bridge over? All those things go into it. I don't know. I don't know.
Debate. I mean,
because Baker can get you to the playoffs. It's can he win you? Can he lead you to an NFC Championship game? Can he get you to the Super Bowl? I think that's the question that you have to look at.
Yeah, but that's the points where you get like this with another one.
Right.
Does anyone remember Nick Foles won a Super Bowl? And then Charles just ran on top of it. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. I mean, you don't necessarily need to have. We talked about this in the offseason. You don't have to have elite quarterback play. You just need to have a good game manager that's not going to shoot you in the foot, and a team that can win the game. Tom Brady said it the best: the ultimate team game.
Yeah.
If Baker makes better reads, just doesn't kill us, and if we have an actual running game that can supplement our passing game, yes, we can be better. But we don't have a running game that's not going to take any pressure off of Baker. Baker's going to be forced to read things where he thinks he has to push it further instead of being a game manager. And this is the result of very inconsistent offense where people are pressing, people are trying to do things they can't do, and we're trying to make something out of nothing when nothing works. You don't know what works. There's no identity. They keep wanting to do this same inside zone run, and it's not working, and you're sticking with it. You got to use I remember him saying they got to look at the stats and the numbers, the first 4 games and the 2 quarters in. Okay, well, let's see what's working. Did you look at those numbers to see what was working? Running out shotgun worked a lot better. Start doing that more. But they don't. They just stuck with their same the same guns of, no, it's going to work once more repetitions.
Yeah.
It sucks that Baker's getting a lot of bad rap because he's the quarterback. He's got to be able to take it. But also when he's been put in those positions to consistently be the guy, you're putting too much on his shoulders. He's never shown that he can do that consistently.
Yeah.
Because Nick Foles, he didn't win it by his own arm. Trent Dilfer most definitely didn't win it with his own arm. They both had hell of a good running games, great defenses.
Yeah. But also the thing though, the thing with those quarterbacks though, they had plays that they made that they were there. Like the plays that were there to be made, Brad Johnson, perfect example. Like Brad was super accurate. Freaking Johnson. Yeah, exactly. But see, with those quarterbacks though, they still made the plays, and guess what? They were consistent. They took care of the football. They didn't throw picks. They were smart with their reads, and they were hitting the guys that were open consistently. And Baker just doesn't do that. He's too inconsistent for me personally to have him as a true long-time investment. I mean, I could see him coming back maybe for a 1-year deal, but that's probably as most I would give him. And I would draft a quarterback to come in behind him after learning and sitting for a year. That would just be me. But I just don't trust Baker enough to really get you where you want to go, because in playoff games, he's going to have to make some throws that right now he's just not, it's just not happening for him. Either it's the deep ball that he's missing, or it's, not hitting guys that are open on the middle of the field, inconsistencies on the out routes and stuff like that, timing, being late, all those things. That's something that, again, a top 20 starter that could get you to the playoffs. Yeah, sure. But I just don't see him being that guy that is going to make the consistent plays in the playoffs that you need to win games.
No, but the biggest key word you're saying is consistency, because
Yeah.
he can do it. Like, you've seen him hit. He's throwing the ball before the guy's even breaking out of the route. He's done it multiple times before.
Right. But he's just too up and down.
Yeah.
He's just too up and down. And that's been his career. He's just been way too up and down. And I don't know if that's something he can improve on. I just don't know if that's something he can break,
It's just a difficult thing to assess, and you can't just label one guy that way.
Right.
We did with Jameis, but he's even proving it more and more now.
Yeah. Jameis is who he is. Like, he just continues to make the same mistakes over and over. Baker, it's a different thing with him each game. Unfortunately, either it's not seeing the field in the middle of the field. It's not progressing through your progressions. There's multiple things that are happening week in, week out, that it's just not working. And yesterday, I know there was rain in the second quarter. Yes, that played a part in the interception, but just wasn't good enough. I mean, he could have had easily a 4-pick day. Guys dropped passes that should have been picked. So you just can't have that. And yeah, we'll see. I personally, I mean, we talked about it, I think, on the last podcast. They got to get in a new coach, and I think a quarterback's going to come with that, especially depending on where you're picking. I'm not saying you have to pick a quarterback in the first round. I'm not all for picking quarterbacks in round 1, because, like, what was it? Witt said in the comments, they don't work out all the time. It's no guarantee. And you can always find quarterbacks late. I mean, San Francisco, they found it with the last pick of the draft and Brock Purdy, and that guy's doing great things. So,
but again, like, it's a team. It's not Brock Purdy's this all-world talent.
But he's playing well. I mean, look how he's playing, though.
Oh, phenomenal. But, like,
yeah,
again,
he plays with anticipation. He throws accurately. He's got a good arm. He hits the deep ball.
Wide hell open because they have a superior running game with Christian McCaffrey that is impossible to stop. So if you got,
I don't know, he puts some tight window throws in there as well. I mean, he plays with accuracy, he plays with timing. There's a lot of good things there.
Can make tough throws too, but if his guys are never truly wide open, they're one-dimensional.
I don't know. I just put one on Twitter that was wide open. He chose not to throw him the ball. So
that's one decision. I mean,
yeah. But there's a lot of decisions in the game that he's not throwing the football.
And I can't even knock that, because I've seen it too, and it gets frustrating. And it's, in my opinion, is it truly his reads, or is it that's where the offense was supposed to go and he didn't get off of it fast enough? I mean, all of it's going to be directed right at Baker Mayfield, but a lot of it is what was called. Did he not just read the defense fast enough, or was this play designed to go to this guy immediately? Like, and it's difficult. Like, it's different from, okay, a defense, a linebacker like Devin White has to sit back in one zone. That's your one coverage. Do it. As opposed to a quarterback that has to read the field, anticipate what the defense is going to do, depend on a guy to break on a route properly. And his placements here, like Tom Brady said, if you're going to break on an out route, you better stop at like 8 yards and cut immediately, because that's where I'm going to throw it. If you're not there, I'm going to be shit on. So it's a lot more difficult to judge a quarterback than anything. But yeah, he does lock in on Mike a little too much. And that's why I said we got to spread it around. And is it play call, or is it he just stares his ass down? And I don't want to be his, pulling for Baker, which I feel like I always am, but yeah, I clearly see something's not ever changing. It's staying the same. And that adds to my reasoning of why, okay, coaching change has to happen too, because philosophy wise, execution wise, it's just not happening.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and I think I've told you this before as well, Krillin. Yeah, I know it's called X, but I'm gonna still call it. I'm gonna still call it Twitter. And a lot of great points you guys are making in the chat. I appreciate it. We appreciate it greatly. But I mean, just looking at Baker and Todd Bowles, like if Todd Bowles is back as head coach next year, then yeah, sure. Bring Baker back. Let's run it one more time with him and see what happens. Maybe you can get the team a little bit better around him. Yeah, there's the play on Twitter I was talking about. I mean, if you watch this right here, he's looking right in the middle field, then he turns his head. Like, just let that ball rip. I mean, you can't tell me you're afraid of number 95. Like, just let it go, man. And on top of that, he's late on the out route to Trey Palmer. Like, that ball needs to be out now. And again, he's late. And it almost gets, probably picked off. But still, Chris Godwin, you can't tell me he's not open or he's not getting open. There's plays where he's getting open.
Because this looks like, okay, you got a deep safety. He's your first read. If there's only one deep safety and only linebackers covering Chris Godwin, wouldn't you want to go immediately off of that read and go to Chris Godwin? Because looks like that's what he's doing. He's just reading, where's the safety? Okay, he's middle of the field. Okay, he can't make it to my receiver on the outside. So he's one-on-one. Let me go with my one-on-one matchup.
Right. But the ball needs to be out now, and it's not.
But it's also he has that outside leverage. So if you're going to do a comeback route, he's got to come back, and you got to throw it to a position where he can come back. Maybe Trey Palmer's got to attack that more.
Yeah, that's two. Yeah, Trey Palmer should have came back to the football.
But your argument's correct. You wide the hell open.
Yeah. I mean, that's open. Like, I don't know. And
like Joe is
it's
focused.
So I mean, you can't really say our guys are not getting wide ass open as much as at San Francisco when you have this. I mean, this is wide ass open. Like, you got to find a way to hit it.
You know what else too? That is a Brock Purdy special. Him middle of the field behind the linebackers, he is definitely there. Like, he annihilated us. That's like right there. Devin White, oops, where am I supposed to be? And he just lasers it right there. Like that. And yeah, that's just poor read. Like, trying to attack the outside too much. Yeah, I don't want to see it no more. Shit.
So I mean, that's just my point. And like, and that's fine. Like, if Dave Canales can understand that Baker's just a one read guy, then that's how you have to set up your offense. You have to set it up where you're maximizing that one read to be open as much as possible, to make it more successful, more high percentage. That's what you see these other play callers do. They maximize one guy to get open. That's what San Francisco does so well, right? They maximize one guy to get open to make sure Brock Purdy has a high completion percentage throw to get it there. There's Godwin running a decoy to perfection. I mean, you can't do it much better than that. So it has to be better. I mean, quarterback play just wasn't there yesterday, and it hasn't been. It's just been so inconsistent. So when you look at the team going forward, head coach and quarterback, that is something that you got to attack, I think, moving forward in the offseason.
I mean, it's just his pre-snap. Yes, the understanding is, okay, they're overloading this side. We have our one-on-one matchup. You want to take it. I guarantee the coach is saying, okay, good. They did what we want them to do. That is our matchup. But like, to me, post-snap, if they just sit there in a zone like that, that's the only guy there, and you're hoping for a linebacker to sit back and get Godwin, I can understand why you get pissed off. Yeah. But then again, the read is not terrible. It's not a terrible read.
Yeah.
Even though, yes, you get a massive gainer if you just move on from your first read. Like, you got to be able to feel, okay, move off from one to go to two because Godwin's going to be there. But then again, what if this guy drops back too much and then oops? So, I mean, there is so many things, the catch-22, when we look at it, yeah, well, you're an idiot. Why didn't you throw it? But it is a good read overall.
Yeah.
It's just the better read was number 2, and you didn't do it. So
Yeah. No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the read. It just wasn't executed, properly. Obviously, receiver could have done a better job. Quarterback could have done a better job. Probably on that play, you'd rather have Trey Palmer just run by the guy and just throw it downfield, and maybe you get a completion that way. So, I mean, yeah, overall, I think we both agree there's most likely going to be a change at head coach. Does that lead to a change at quarterback? It remains to be seen. I think that's going to be in Jason Light's hands and also the new head coach's hands. Like whoever the new head coach is, he's going to decide if he wants Baker Mayfield back or not, or if he wants to proceed with a new quarterback. Most likely, usually the new head coach, they want to pick their own quarterback. That's just how it goes. And if you have high enough draft pick where the Buccaneers are drafting 10th overall right now, you could be in range to go up and get a quarterback. You could go trade up for a Jaden Daniels or you wait and see what falls to you in the second round. There could be options there in the second round for sure. I think there will be. I think there'll be quarterbacks there to be had in the second round, like a Michael Penix Jr. that Krillin's talking about, or a Bo Nix, or even a Jaden Daniels. I could see Jaden Daniels falling to the second round just because of his size. I think his inconsistencies over his years at Arizona State and just being the 1-year wonder at LSU, I think that could definitely play a factor. And you could also, trade up for one of these guys. If you feel like they're not going to get there, you could go and trade up for one. What's so funny?
Let's face it, Tubble's back. We're drafting a defensive line in the first round again.
Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. They do need edge rusher. And if you could get a Latu from UCLA or a Chop Robinson or Jared Verse, I mean, you might as well.
I mean, I'll say this. If we can go on a run and somehow beat some teams that we don't expect to beat, yes, I'll jump on the bandwagon again. I've jumped off big time. I just don't see the progressions of improving, especially against a team like this where you should have slaughtered them. I was already off of it. This just cements my validation even more.
Yeah, I mean, we see the process is just on repeat right now, and this team continues to make the same mistakes every week. But the only difference was they found a way to win yesterday because they just made 2 clutch plays with the Mike Evans touchdown and then getting that interception at the end of the game. Like, I was surprised the Panthers didn't run the ball on that 4th and 1. It was 4th and 1 and they didn't run it, and they were running it pretty well. I was surprised they didn't just run the ball and find a way to get down to kick a field goal or get a touchdown to win the game.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Well, that's the same thing. Why didn't Baker go to read 2+? They should have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we can have this debate all the time, like, because we like doing it though. It's because at the end of the day, all of us just want our team to play better, right? And
we want a championship, yeah.
And we all think we know what the result is, so we like to reason it out with you guys. Where sometimes people are just so one-wayed. It's almost like politics. So on one side than the other. Like, it's got to be a mixture of both. It's not just all deep balls all the damn time by BA. It's not just little short routes all the time either. Like the San Francisco offense, it's a marriage of both. Everyone thinks it's just a running game or short pass. It's a short pass that opens up the deep pass. And they dial it up so good, the timing of it. And they got a quarterback that can execute it. You just got to be able to read it better. You got to be able to use your weapons to the full ability. And then defensively, you got to understand when you got guys that can't play that position and take them the hell out. You're making some changes, literally almost seems like based off of injury now, but let's see. I mean, I almost think like if we lose in Atlanta, it's a nail in the coffin. And I think, like you said, Kyle Trask should go in. And I think Baker probably will get hurt this game. It's just, it's almost bound to happen. He's getting hurt every damn game. Derek Brown fell on his ankle. His last game. So he's going to get hurt. I don't wish it on him, but the playing style he's going to do, he's going to press, and I think he's going to get hurt, and you're going to see Kyle Trask. But is that going to be Todd Bowles' savior either? Probably not.
No, I mean, I'm not expecting Kyle Trask to go in there and like light it up, but I would like to see him play at least some point, this season, just get a look and see if there is anything there with Kyle and the first team offense, and see if he has any hope of maybe becoming a starter for this team. But yeah, I mean, yeah, what's the point of using Kyle when draft a QB in 2024? You want. Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah, I mean, if they draft a quarterback for next year, you definitely want that rookie to play. You want him to get the reps. Yeah, no doubt. But
No,
I would still like to see Trask at some point, this season.
Even like you just said though, like
Yeah.
let that quarterback get a year to learn, or at least a portion of time. Like Will Levis, he had time to sit and watch. Okay, now let's put him in. Clearly, this guy is not it. Our quarterback had time to see the game speed of the NFL, get to know the playbook even more, get to learn his teammates even more. Okay, he's comfortable. He understands the heat of what the hell NFL life is and how serious it is. Okay, let's put him in now. Not have him have a culture shock from day one. You're our guy. You better be the guy. You better get us to playoffs. If not, we're going to kick you down the curb. Like that sucks. And not many guys can mentally take that. And yeah, let's see. And I wouldn't be mad if, you saw a little bit from Kyle Trask. You still drafted a guy next year. Kyle Trask started because Baker left to, like someone said, Atlanta. And then Kyle Trask, our quarterback, and then we eventually loses it to our franchise quarterback or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't hurt to see, especially if you lose the Falcons.
Yeah.
What are you playing for now?
Right. Well, we're only one game out of first place. That's what they'll say.
Todd.
Yeah, it's just crazy. That's the definition of this team. They're insane. Because they continue to do the same things over and over. But yeah, I mean, anything else, guys? I mean, I think we pretty much covered it. This team is going to have a lot of things going on in the offseason. I think we're on the brink of seeing change at head coach because, again, I don't see a miracle happening going forward. I don't think they're going to make the necessary improvements to, get on a run here and win consistently down the stretch. So maybe 1 to 2 more wins that I think is what Mark C the rest of the way. And you end up making a change at head coach. And then from there, you see what happens and see what the new coach brings.
And it's sad to say, but also like you got to turn a page sometimes. And it's so you can't keep staying with the same stuff. It's just providing you nothing. There's no value. There's no progression. You can't stick with it.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm all for the thing. If you see progressions, they have a plan in place. They have a good understanding. Yeah, but you have pieces you can use and you're not using it right. I want to have a person that knows how to use those pieces right.
Yep. No, agreed. So I think that's going to do it for us. Again, the Buccaneers won. It doesn't sound like.
Wait a minute.
Woo! So the Buccaneers won. They got their 5th win, which is awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. I know
this deserves a comment. Josh Dobbs looking like Jada Pinkett.
Oh no!
If we go up, careful, Krillin. Will Smith enters the chat.
Will Smith might slap you.
That's gold. That was a gold. But yeah, guys, hit the like button for us. Help support the channel.
Yes. Let me bring that up.
Extremely good conversation and back and forth this week. I liked it a lot. Considering, we did win, but there's a lot of question marks moving forward. And we didn't even talk about bringing back Mike. That's the biggest one.
Yeah. I mean, bringing back Mike, I think that's going to be key for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things to look at, especially coming up over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we continue to see those young guys continue to improve and play like they have been, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Mike Evans continue to break records and do his thing, and hopefully we see a better overall offense, hopefully over the last, several weeks. That'd be nice. So it'll be interesting. We're hoping for wins, but again, not expecting them because of the coaching staff and how the players are playing right now as far as consistency goes. It's just not happening. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to check us out next week. Again, Mondays, 9:15 Eastern. We are live, and keep a lookout for our videos throughout the rest of the week as well. Again, hit those comments. Give us what you guys are thinking. We appreciate that. It doesn't go unnoticed. And always, thank you all for so far this season. The consistent people in this chat, they've always been here every week. So we really do appreciate that. It really goes a long way for you guys to show your support week in and week out. So thank you. And as always, go Bucs. And with that said, until the next one.
Woo!